This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events or places are purely coincidental.
Tales Episode 3. Story 7, Thai Hotel Scare.
In a quiet corner of Bangkok, Alex, a man of mixed Thai and Caucasian heritage, checked into a hotel for a business trip. His mother was Thai, and he'd spent many summers in Thailand, but his life had mostly been overseas. This trip felt both familiar and foreign, but he was eager to focus on his work. The hotel itself was an old, beautifully restored building, with traditional Thai architecture and dim, warm lighting that felt nostalgic to Alex. After a long day of meetings, he returned to his room, planning to rest. But as he was about to drift off to sleep, a strange chill filled the air, as if the temperature had dropped. Around 2 a.m., he was jolted awake by a soft knock on his door. Thinking it might be room service by mistake, he opened the door to find an empty hallway. He shrugged it off as a strange dream and tried to fall asleep again. Just as he closed his eyes, he heard soft whispers, almost like chanting, coming from the corner of his room. He turned on the lights, but the room was silent and still. The next night, he found himself awake at the same hour. This time, the whispers were louder, more insistent. As he sat up, he saw the faint silhouette of a woman in traditional Thai attire, standing in the corner, her face turned away. She looked familiar, almost like someone from an old family photo he'd once seen. Alex tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. The woman slowly turned her head, her face expressionless, and pointed toward the door. Panic set in, and he rushed out of the room, heading straight to the hotel lobby. He explained the encounter to the front desk staff.
Good morning, sir. Is there anything I can help you with? Is everything okay?
Earlier, I saw a lady ghost wearing a traditional Thai dress in the room and scared the hell out of me, pointing to my door.
Expecting them to laugh or brush it off. But instead, they nodded solemnly. One of the staff members quietly told him that a woman fitting the description had once stayed in that very room.
That woman once stayed in that very room and had passed away there under mysterious circumstances.
The staff offered to change his room.
I apologize for the inconvenience. Here, I can move you to a new room if that would help.
But Alex felt a strange sense of calm.
It's okay. I think I will be fine. I feel calm now. I'll just stick to my original room. I'll make a move now. Need to rest.
Okay, sir. You have a good rest. If any problem arises again, please don't hesitate to call our front desk for assistance.
He returned to his room, lit a small incense stick he'd found in his bag, and whispered a respectful Thai prayer his mother had taught him long ago. That night, he slept peacefully, feeling a warmth settle over the room, as if the spirit had been put to rest. The rest of his stay was uneventful, but Alex left with a deep sense of connection to his heritage, feeling as though he'd honored something, or someone, that had been waiting for his return.
Story 8, Old Aunt Ghost at the Office Toilet.
It was nearly midnight in a quiet office tower in downtown Beijing. May, a diligent office worker, was the last to leave as usual. She had been preparing an important presentation for the next day and lost track of time. Finally deciding to call it a night, she packed her things and walked down the dimly lit hallway toward the restroom before heading home. The office was eerily silent, even the air felt heavier. As she entered the restroom, she thought she heard the faint sound of footsteps behind her. She looked back, but no one was there. Shaking it off, she splashed water on her face, hoping it would wash away the fatigue. Suddenly, the fluorescent light above flickered. May froze, her gaze fixed on her reflection. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw something, a figure in the mirror, barely visible, standing at the far corner of the restroom. It was an old woman, her face pale and expressionless, with hollow eyes staring directly at her. May gasped and turned around, but the restroom was empty. She looked back at the mirror. The old woman was gone. Her heart racing, May took a deep breath and whispered to herself,
Just stress, you are just tired.
She dried her hands and quickly walked toward the door. But as she reached for the handle, a cold, brittle voice echoed from behind her.
Why are you still here?
May's blood ran cold. She turned slowly, and there, standing in the middle of the restroom, was the old woman, her face drawn and ghostly, her clothes faded and tattered as though from another era. The woman pointed a bony finger at her.
Leave now!
Panic set in, and May bolted out of the restroom, not daring to look back. She grabbed her things, heart pounding, and didn't stop running until she was outside the building. Only when she was on the crowded, brightly lit street did she feel safe enough to catch her breath. The next day, May arrived at work and hesitantly asked the cleaning staff about the old woman.
Last night, I was disturbed by an old aunt in the restroom. I freaked out and nearly fainted.
The janitor looked at her with a knowing expression and said,
You're not the first to see her. They say she was once a worker here who never left even after her death.
Story 9, Occupier at radio station.
Razif, seorang DJ Melayu yang karismatik dalam awal usia 30-an, sangat menyukai shift malamnya di sebuah stesen radio popular di Singapura. Suasana kota yang sunyi selepas tengah malam dan hubungan intim yang dia bina bersama para pendengarnya memberikannya semangat. Suaranya yang lembut, diselangi dengan sedikit humor, menjadi pengubat bagi burung hantu malam dan pemandu lewat malam. Pada malam Jumaat yang lembap, Razif berada di biliknya, memainkan campuran lagu R&B dan balada klasik Melayu. Suaranya memenuhi ruang suram ketika dia bercakap ke mikrofon.
Untuk semua burung hantu malam di luar sana, lagu ini khas untuk anda. Temankan saya hingga ke pagi, ya.
Studio itu sunyi sepi kecuali bunyi muzik. Ia terletak di sebuah bangunan lama berhampiran East Coast Road yang dikatakan berhantu. Razif tidak pernah ambil peduli tentang cerita-cerita itu. Dia membesar dengan cerita hantu dan tahu kebanyakannya hanyalah cerita rakyat kampung. Pada pukul 3.15 pagi, ketika dia sedang menyusun lagu seterusnya, ketukan perlahan bergema di biliknya. Dahi Razif berkerut. Tidak sepatutnya ada sesiapa di bangunan itu pada waktu sebegini. Razif menekan butang intercom.
Hello, ada sesiapa di sana?
Dia mengabaikannya, menganggap itu hanyalah halusinasi mindanya yang letih, lalu kembali ke konsolnya. Tiba-tiba, suhu di bilik itu turun. Dia merasakan hembusan angin sejuk melintasinya, sesuatu yang ganjil dalam studio yang berhawa dingin. Lampu berkelip-kelip seketika.
Okey, Razif, jangan fikir bukan-bukan.
Dia bergumam, memaksa dirinya untuk tertawa kecil. Dia meneruskan setnya, memperkenalkan lagu klasik dari Sudirman.
Dengan tajuk Pelangi Petang, moga terhiburnya semua.
Ketika itulah dia perasan sesuatu yang aneh pada monitor. Cermin tingkap yang memisahkan biliknya dari koridor memantulkan bayangan samar-samar seorang figura. Razif memanggil.
Oi, siapa tu?
Segera berpaling. Koridor itu kosong. Jantungnya berdegup kencang, tetapi dia memutuskan untuk memeriksa. Ketika dia membuka pintu studio, udara sejuk menyerangnya seperti gelombang. Koridor itu memanjang ke dalam kegelapan, hanya diterangi oleh mentol yang berkelip-kelip. Dia mengimbas kawasan itu dan terlihat seseorang berdiri di hujung koridor. Ia adalah seorang wanita memakai baju kurung. Membelakanginya.
Cik okey ke?
Razif bersuara, suaranya bergetar. Wanita itu perlahan-lahan berpaling. Razif terpaku. Kepalanya tiada. Dia tersentak ke belakang. Jantungnya berdegup seperti gendang. Figura itu mula bergerak ke arahnya, meluncur tanpa suara. Razif tergesa-gesa masuk semula ke bilik dan mengunci pintu. Tangannya menggigil. Lampu studio berkelip dengan ganas. Peralatan radio berbunyi bising dan tiba-tiba suara wanita itu terdengar melalui fon kepalanya menyanyikan lagu buayan lama Melayu.
Tidurlah anakku, tidurlah sayang.
Razif mencabut fon kepala itu. Nafasnya tersengal-sengal. Dia menjeling ke tingkap. Figura tanpa kepala itu kini sedang merenungnya, atau sekurang-kurangnya di mana sepatutnya matanya berada. Dengan segala keberanian yang ada, Razif mencapai buku surah Yasin dari bagnya dan mula membaca dengan lantang.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yasin.
Suaranya bergetar tetapi semakin kuat dengan setiap ayat. Figura itu mula menghilang. Bayangannya larut menjadi kabus. Studio itu kembali kepada kehangatan biasa. Lampu berhenti berkelip dan bunyi peralatan berhenti. Razif duduk dalam keadaan terpaku, memegang erat buku itu. Baru Razif teringat yang bos dia pernah beritahu minggu lepas yang tempat kerja ini adalah tempat paling lama dan dahulu seketika waktu Perang Jepun, ramai yang terkorban nyawa. Mungkin hantu yang tak punya kepala itu adalah mangsa dahulu dan ia mungkin pernah hamil dan meninggal kerana dibunuh askar Jepun. Ketika matahari terbit, dia mengemas barang dan pergi, bersumpah tidak akan bekerja shift malam lagi. Namun, ketika dia melangkah keluar dari studio, dia masih tidak dapat melupakan melodi lagu buayan itu yang terus terngiang di telinganya.
Tidurlah anakku, tidurlah sayang.